Well, my road trip from Dallas to Midland was going really good until I got to Big Spring, and then things kind of went south after that. Hey everybody, Cruiseman here, and just wanted to give you a quick video and let you know what's going on. As you saw from the thumbnail, things are not going well on this road trip. Let me just tell you what happened. I left the house about 7 o'clock this morning, headed for Midland, Odessa, and coming out here to spend a few days with my brother. You know, I do this a couple times a year. And I decided, because the highways are so insane right now with traffic and everything, and the semi-tractor trailers, I decided to take the back roads and go on Highway 180, take the north route rather than go on Interstate 20. And it was actually a pretty nice ride, not much traffic at all, a little windy. It actually got cool for a while. We had a little cold front blow in. So the ride was actually pretty good. I got to Snyder, Texas, and I turned south on Highway 350 to go down to Big Spring. And I decided to do something I've never done before. I decided to fill up with gas in Big Spring before I went on to Midland. And I saw that there was a truck stop on the other side of Interstate 20 on this Highway 350, right there at the intersection. I go across the overpass, and there is a semi parked at the store. He's at the stop sign on the other side of the freeway, and I pull up behind him and stop, probably 10 to 15 feet from his rear bumper, and he decides to start backing up, and he just backs up. And I am leaning on the horn. I did get the bike into neutral. I was getting ready to put it in reverse, but I thought maybe it's better to use the horn. But the bike was on a slight decline, so it had to back uphill. I don't think I could have backed uphill fast enough to get away from him anyway. And he just keeps on coming. And as soon as I heard the crunch of the front tire, I bailed off the bike. The bike kind of tipped over to the right, and I honestly don't know if it threw me off. It might have actually kind of catapulted me off. And all I could think of was I got to get out of the way of his rear wheels, because I'm afraid he's just going to keep coming back and run over me. Fortunately, we were in the right lane, and there was a curb with a little sidewalk there on the overpass, and I was able to kind of scurry over there and get out of his way. And it was, you know, of course, I'm thinking at the time the bike's totaled. You know, it broke the front wheel, obviously, ruined the front tire, busted the front fender. This is just my initial assessment. It looks to me like the front fork might be compromised because it is cast aluminum, and I wouldn't trust riding the bike if it had suffered any damage at all, because it could have a hairline fracture that maybe wouldn't show up until you're riding one day and you hit a bump or something and it just cracks. So there was a witness. There was a guy who used to ride. He said he used to ride. He was very nice. He saw the whole thing happen. He actually was honking at the truck driver because he had pulled up to the left side of the truck because he was going to make a left turn. Turns out the truck driver was backing up so he could make a right turn on the little right turnout. He missed his turn, basically. Of course, he doesn't have a backup camera. He doesn't have any sensors. So, you know, I don't even think he'd have seen me if I'd been in a car, honestly, because it was a 18-wheel trailer. If I'd been in a car, I don't think his mirrors would have seen me. I was expecting him to go through the stop sign and go to the truck stop or whatever. So the witness, I'm going to let him tell the story because I did get that on videotape. I did not have my Insta360 running when this happened, unfortunately. I'm going to let the witness tell his side of the story and let you make a decision on what you think.
Well, when I was stopped about maybe 15 feet behind you.
He didn't see me. But he didn't see me backing up. I just tried to make a right, go to the truck stop.
So you were backing up to go right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was one of the truck stop over there.
Think you might get lucky?
Huh?
You think you might get lucky?
I don't know. I doubt it. He backed up. He was backing up, and I couldn't get him to stop.
I know. I saw you back there, and I was wondering why he was letting people go.
Did you see him back up?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was letting people go through the stop sign, and then he starts backing up. Were you trying to turn right here?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, he missed his right-hand turn right here. So that's why he was backing up so he could turn right. Is that right?
Yeah, maybe it was right.
Have you already called the
He was
police?
stopped.
No, I didn't call.
He was stopped behind you.
No, he stuck on like this.
Yes.
I was
He
pretty
was
far.
stopped behind you. Then you start backing up, and he's trying to back up and honk at you.
Motorcycle.
What?
I can hit some motorcycle. It's too slow. I couldn't even see it.
I know you can't see it. That's why you gotta get out of your truck and look behind you before you start backing up.
So you want me to call police? So I just.
Police are on their way. Police are right there.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And,
I saw the whole thing, man. This is.
I just couldn't get it in reverse fast enough to back
Oh, it's got
up.
reverse on it?
It does have reverse, but
That's
I
nice.
couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah.
I
I thought he was trying to back up just a little bit.
I did too.
And then he just kept going. Yeah, everybody's good.
Who's the driver of the
18-wheeler.
Yeah. You get your license?
I was stopped, and he was at the stop sign, and he just started backing up. And I tried to honk, and some other people honked too.
I was
think.
honking at him. I had my window down, waving at him, trying to stop him.
And he just
I was
backed
right here
right in.
turning left. And he was letting cars, because he had the right of way. He was stopped, and he was waving cars to go through. And so I see him start backing up kind of slowly. And then I see him sitting behind him. And I figured he's just going to back up a little bit, but he keeps going. So I'm like, obviously he didn't see the motorcycle right behind him. So I start honking at him, waving at him with my window down, and it was too late. I see him kind of, I don't know if you jumped off or rolled off, but I saw you.
Yeah, as soon as he hit the bike, I had to jump off.
Yes, sir. What's your name? Are you okay?
Kevin?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Who's driving this?
Hey,
Alrighty. What happened?
I was stopped maybe 15 feet behind the truck. He
Okay.
was at the stop sign, and he started backing up.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't get it into reverse fast enough. And plus I'm on a hill,
And this is what we ended up with?
and he just backed into me, and I just kind of jumped off as soon as it hit.
Is it not drivable?
Oh no,
Do you have a preference in record?
I do not. I'm not from here. I'm from Dallas, and I was on my way to Midland.
So anyway, the police did show up. I'm not sure who called the police. I didn't call them. I think the witness must have called them, or somebody called them. Several people did pass by while I was on the ground and asked if I was okay. And at the time, I was. I obviously didn't think anything was broken. I had my jacket on, my gear, my helmet, my gloves, fortunately, because my hands obviously hit. When I jumped off the bike, I hit the ground. I landed on my right hip. And now my hip is sore. It wasn't sore at the time, but now as time goes on, it's starting to bruise and I'm sore on the hip. Overall, I consider myself to be very lucky. I don't know what else is going to hurt when I get up tomorrow. Maybe my back, who knows. But it's just, like I say, I've prepared for all kinds of scenarios in my mind of things that could happen and never crossed my mind to prepare for a situation. The bike was basically wedged underneath the back of his truck. And when the police showed up, and by the way, the Big Spring Police Department, extremely nice, extremely helpful, very concerned, very, they took statements from the witness. They took statements from the driver. The driver did get a citation, and because it was witnessed that he backed up into me. So that's the drama for the day. Hope you learn something from this experience and maybe be more aware to leave yourself a lot of space when you pull in behind a semi anywhere. If you go back and watch the little clip I showed where the driver, you'll notice he has on headphones. So my guess is that's why he didn't hear anybody honking, because the witness said he was right next to the driver. And he could see him backing up, and he knew I was back there because he had just driven by me and he saw I was back there stopped. And he was waving his hands and honking and doing everything he could, and the guy apparently didn't hear it. I'm guessing. I don't know. Thanks for watching the video. The police department did call a tow truck, and it was a flatbed, and when the truck separated from the bike, me and the tow truck driver were holding the bike to keep it from falling over. And as soon as the semi pulled away and whatever that piece of metal is that hit my front tire, as soon as it let loose, it just sheared off the front. Half the front wheel just came with it. It was just, the aluminum was shattered. Front wheel's gone. And that I don't know what you call it. They call it a bumper. I don't know what that is, that piece of metal. Huh? Crash bar. I guess they call it a crash bar. And it was basically resting up against my front fork, as you can see in the pictures. And it did at least mar the front fork. It didn't break it, I don't think, but it was lean. There's a lot of pressure on that front fork, so I don't trust the front fork or the bearings or the steering head or any of that. That's all got to be replaced, in my opinion. And of course the wheel and I'm assuming probably both of the brake rotors. Calipers are probably okay, but I don't know. In cases like this, they may just decide to go ahead and replace the calipers, the brake lines, and everything. So, dramatic day, and didn't end up the way I wanted it to. I guess now, oh, by the way, the tow truck was $850 to tow me from Big Spring, Texas to the Honda dealer in Midland, Texas. There is no Honda dealer in Big Spring, and that's about 50 miles. In fact, I've got the bill right here. It was $250 for the towing, $450 for mileage, and $150 for something else. He scratched out service time. I don't know what that is. Maybe that was the time it took him to load the bike. I don't know, or he and I did it together. The bike would not roll up onto the trailer or onto the flatbed. The front wheel, when you tried to roll forward, something was in a bind. Piece of the aluminum was hitting something. I don't know what it was. So basically what he did was he tied his winch around the front tire. I sat on the bike, and he basically he just drug the front tire. It didn't roll, it just drug it up the thing, and we strapped it down and drove to Midland. Unloaded it. They unloaded it with a forklift. Kudos to Max at Traction for the engine guard. I did have the engine guard on, and it lined up pretty nicely with that forklift. And they picked it up with a forklift and pulled it off the trailer because there was no way to back it down because the front wheel wouldn't turn. So that was nice. And don't turn off your video camera. If you have a video camera, keep it running at all the time. I should have had it on loop recording, because this camera has the ability to just continually run like a dash cam. And I didn't have it. I had turned it off just a few miles before this happened. Because the first thing the policeman asked me, he saw my camera and he said, "Did you get a recording?" And I felt like an idiot. Here I got the $500 camera and I didn't have it turned on. So anyway, let me know in the comments. This is probably going to be an expensive fix. I've already contacted Progressive, and we'll see how this insurance adjustment goes. But I still think it's probably going to, because I've got to buy an airline ticket to go home. Probably have to buy another airline ticket to come back out when the bike's fixed and ride it home. So thanks for watching the video. If you have any comments, put them in the comments down below. And I will not see you in another motor vlog, at least on the Goldwing, for quite some time. I do have another bike review I'm working on, but I won't be able to do that till I get home. So anyway, talk with you soon. And now it seems kind of crazy, but remember what I always say, ride often, but ride safe.